ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to This Is a Work. My name is David Hensley. I am the owner and creative director of Long Walk Productions, and I am here to introduce your host, David Two Doggz Hayes.
Thank you very much, David Hensley, and welcome to Rock Hill, South Carolina's only premier wrestling pay-per-view review podcast. This is a work. I am your host, David Two Doggz Hayes, and alongside me, as per usual, my pal, my tag partner, my buddy, Chris, the Fashion Plate Barnes. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm on a 2-podcast streak. Will it last? We'll see.
Man, we have had a crazy past couple of weeks with All Out going on, and we went right from that into actually going to see Clash of the Champions live. Hate you couldn't make that.
I still got to watch it. We just performed a little home invasion.
Right. Yeah, you did. My home invasion.
It was WWE in Doggz' house.
It was the worst pay-per-view. No, it was such a good time. And thank you, Katie, for getting us in to see that.
Oh, my God. When did she get here?
You're welcome.
And speaking of Katie, we have a wrestling news update, not the video that you usually see before the pay-per-views. You've heard us talking about a mystery man on the pay-per-views. Katie has an update.
Oh, the pressure's on. So, how many episodes ago was it that you and Ted discussed who we very affectionately call Waylon Jesus in the front row?
I believe that. Wow, we are really.
I feel like we're singing a duet right
We're
now.
sharing a milkshake.
Islands in the stream. That is what we are. We're sharing a mic for all you listeners.
No, that was like 2 pay-per-views ago, I believe.
Oh, okay. So it never fails that there is one very specific individual sitting in the front row where the hard camera is that we have affectionately and very lovingly deemed Waylon Jesus. Mostly because he is equal parts favoring Waylon Jennings and Jesus of Nazareth. And he's normally our barometer for how the crowd is reacting to a lot of the matches, which he really likes the heels. He really enjoys it. So when
he's got his favorites.
Yeah, he really does. And it's fun to watch him watch the matches. Well, after Clash of Champions in Charlotte, which I think has been the first pay-per-view in a hot second that Charlotte has hosted, and I hope there are more because it seemed to be pretty well attended, and I hope that pushes us, to maybe a WrestleMania. I'm claiming it now. We can host it. We can do it. If we can host an NBA All-Star game, we sure can host a WrestleMania in that city. So anyway, where I work is within the uptown area of Charlotte, and I had rehearsal one afternoon, so I tend to stay a little bit later to catch a ride to rehearsal. And I was going to try to find something to eat. I walk out into one of Charlotte's many gorgeous parks, and lo and behold, sitting on a bench was Waylon Jesus.
You gotta be kidding me. That's
And I'm never this person. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to interject myself, even if it's somebody that I am just completely head over heels with. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be that person that's like, do you know who you are? But I fully went up to this stranger that sits in the front row of every pay-per-view and introduced myself and asked him if he was also at the pay-per-view. Not, were you sitting in the front row? Were you...
Hey, are you Waylon Jesus?
I did not tell him that we had nicknamed him Waylon Jesus. But it...
Will you bless me?
Will you like somebody that I like for once? But he was a very kind person. He told me his actual name, which I will keep, under my belt, only because a lot of people, and I feel like the internet as a whole, are trolling this guy. And
you just hold on a minute.
Well, it's gotten to a point, like, our conversation was very, very cool, and the person that he was with told me, and I quote, "You're cool, but you would not believe what people come up to him and say." So the internet will pick apart anything and everything. So it's very evident that we will keep his name private, but that Waylon Jesus has been trolled, bullied, etc., to a point to where he's kind of backing away from wanting to go to the pay-per-views because people either on site or on the internet are pursuing him when he's just there to be a patron. So,
and honestly, I really wish we'd kind of get in contact with him, because I would love for him just continue to go to the pay-per-views and give us I saw it firsthand. This is what I thought. I would love to get this guy to talk to us.
Well, that was the first question he asked me. He said, "How did you feel about the pay-per-view, and what was your favorite match?" Mm-hmm. And him and the person that he was with, we talked for a solid 30 minutes. We talked about the city of Charlotte, and we talked about the pay-per-view, and we talked about the weather, and we talked about, just, regular stuff that people talk about. I don't know what I was expecting. I just, after all of the weird stories that we had made up about Waylon Jesus, I just needed to know. And I was like, here I go. I'm going to introduce myself, and I'm going to see what this guy is all about. Right. Because we thought for the longest time, this person has to be connected, right?
That was always my thought.
Right. He has to be somebody's publicist. He has to be somebody's manager or brother, cousin, whatever. As far as I'm aware, and again, he was very, he played it very close to the chest. As far as I'm aware, he's just a super fan. And this is the way he chooses to live his life.
Did you ask him what he thought of the AEW pay-per-view?
I did not venture that far, because once he made it very evident that he was a little outside the realm of, like, man, it's gotten me to a point where I don't want to attend anymore because people keep pursuing me because the internet or because of whatever. It kind of made me read the room a little bit and say, okay, we're going to pull it back. Right. What have you done in Charlotte? So I kind of redirected the conversation. But he's a very cool person. And as far as I'm aware, he really enjoyed the pay-per-view. Yeah. He really thought it was, when you're sitting on the front row, I find it hard
to enjoy it.
Yeah,
about
I find it hard to. Yeah, more. Right. And the one thing that him and the person he was with told me is once they're in their seats, they stay. They do not move. So, which was very interesting to me because they don't order any concessions or anything like that. They take gum or mints or whatever, and if they get thirsty, that's what they use. And isn't that wild?
Yeah, that is so crazy.
Because it's gotten to a point to where if he moves, people will bother him. And I don't know. I'm here to say, leave the guy alone. He's just trying to live his life. He buys the tickets for a reason. Yes, he sits in front of the camera, but that's no reason to seek him out and be nasty to him.
No, absolutely. Nobody wants to be nasty. I don't think anybody here wants to be nasty to him.
No.
Because I think we've kind of turned the guy into a urban legend.
Right. And I don't think he wants to be, though. Like, I don't think he wants to be anybody's mascot or anything like that. And his one thing that he said to me was, stop watching me. Watch the match. And in my mind's eye, I was like, well, some of these matches are kind of boring that we kind of... When you watch every single pay-per-view, you start to realize the scene around you. You start to... It's just like watching a movie. When you watch a movie so many times, you start picking up on things that you didn't necessarily see the first time around or the second time or even the third time. So when we watch all these pay-per-views together and he's always there, it's just kind of like, oh, hey, there he is. I told him, I said, we physically waved to you from the couch. We know you can't see us, but we waved to you.
What was his reaction when you said
He
that?
was probably like, you're a psychopath, and I never want to come to this town again. But at the same time, the person he was with was like, you're cool, but it's wild what people approach him with, to a point to where I think they were in San Diego? They were in a town or San Jose or somewhere. They were attending another event, to a point to where they were getting berated so much that the security of the venue was like, would you like us to escort you to your vehicle or to an exit?
Wow,
I'm like,
really?
This is insane. Yeah, like, so, leave him alone. He's just a super fan. Let him spend his money on whatever he wants to. Let him enjoy sitting in the front row, even if it is on the hard camera. Before the internet, he probably would have been completely fine. But to segue, Chris and I were having a conversation before we came on air about the fact that there have been other patrons that have consistently either worn the same thing or sat in the same seat that wrestling has always kind of latched onto. So
Oh yeah, it's happened a lot.
yeah, I don't know if you want to interject with what you were talking about, but
I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, because it's a risk you have to. I was saying to Katie, I think part of the problem is if you consistently decide
don't cough on me.
to spend.
That was gross. We're sharing a mic, for God's sakes. Cough straight in my face.
He's right. We're heading into fall, dog. It's not cool.
We've got the plague now. Well, I had my mouth open.
Well, that's why I was aiming for it.
That's nasty. Chris, please save us.
Welcome back to Health and Safety with Doggz and.
Not Katie, because she withered away and died.
Well, I was talking to Katie about specifically that I feel like, unfortunately, it's an inherent risk.
Yeah,
because
there's that.
My feeling is, and I'm not saying this to be a jerk, but like, if you are someone who can afford to consistently sit on the front row every pay-per-view, it's going to be a noticeable presence, whether or not, and like Katie's saying, he wears the same thing every time, so it becomes easier to pick out. And it's just, I know that's what he really wants to do as someone who enjoys wrestling, to be there in the front row, but it's an action zone. It's very, like, when ringside and everything.
It's also, it's a unique look that he has too.
It is, but like I'm saying, it's like, if you keep it consistent, people start, like Katie said, you start picking up on what's around you.
Right, like the straw hat Hawaiian shirt guy from ECW.
Right.
Of course, he did that on purpose. Or at least it turned into him doing it on purpose.
It turned into him wanting to be noticed, and whether or not Waylon Jesus wants to be noticed, he kept a consistent look. He was always in the front row. It wasn't going to take long for people to notice and glom onto that. I don't think they should. Katie's right. He's right. People should just be watching the show, but you can't stop people from, especially in wrestling, seeing the crowd as, by extension, like we were saying, as a whole, a character, and then individual people becoming even more like characters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And when you take the wrestling demographic at face value, anyway. These are some mean people. So
they are.
Well, and that's another thing that Chris and I were talking about off air, is how how many times we watch pay-per-views in the comfort of our own homes, and the audience is its own character that kind of gets incorporated into the card, because we comment all the time like, ooh, the audience is not here for it, or the audience is trying to hang on. Like, we're all about the audience and how they're participating in each and every match. Like, if they're not here for it, then psychologically we're not here for it.
That's what wrestling lives and dies on.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it's man gymnastics theater, like Ted mentioned before. Mm-hmm. It's all about that engagement, and I think Waylon Jesus, for all intents and purposes, is kind of like our barometer for that everyman being in the audience. Like, is he here for it? Is he not? Oh man, he likes it, but I'm hating it, but he loves it. So I mean, that's just where I find my interest lying in watching him watch a match.
I'm not saying it's his fault that people are treating him this way. I am saying, unfortunately, it's kind of a trap he sprung on himself. Not intentionally.
Not intentionally.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
it's still not fair to seek him out.
It's like he was taking a hike.
No,
absolutely not. It's like he was taking a walk in his favorite woods and he stepped in a bear trap.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah. When you knew there were bears out there, but still not his fault.
Not
at all.
No, 100% not. Unfortunately, now he has to make a hard decision if he wants to keep doing it or not.
Well, I want him to keep doing it,
I do
because
too.
I support Waylon Jesus sitting in the front row. Number one,
I hope WWE supports him. I hope they take notice of him.
I think that's something that WWE needs.
Yes.
You need, after what I've seen in the past 2 pay-per-views that we've watched, they need loyalty.
Yes.
And because sooner or later, people are going to start jumping ship completely, especially around October.
And this is the last thing that I'll say about this. To this, degree, and then I'm going to step away and let you guys actually do your podcast. But the great thing and the most valued thing about that I gleaned from this conversation, that he does this not only to participate in a entertainment sport that he really enjoys, but they could have easily left and caught the red-eye flight back to where they came from and not spent any time in Charlotte. But they made it a point, and they told me this, we make it a point to stay either a day before, a day after, a couple days, and enjoy the city that we're in. So not only is he being a patron to the product for WWE, him and his guest were patrons of the city, which, for me, I'm employed by the city. So that to me is very important, that they see the value in staying an extra day wherever they are. So they're taking pride in not just traveling to experience the pay-per-view and going straight home, but engaging themselves wherever they are and, eating at restaurants and buying the souvenirs and saying that they've been there because they're proud of their travel.
Right on. Did he like Charlotte?
Yeah, he really enjoyed it. When I interacted with them, they had just gone to one of the art museums uptown and bought some souvenirs, and they come from a much warmer climate, so they were enjoying the weather and enjoying the park. That's.
Now, were people mean to him here in Charlotte? That's the one thing.
I didn't ask that question, and I hope I wasn't one of those people. I don't feel like I was, but at the same time, I try to be an ambassador for the city whenever I can be. But it seems like they had a pretty positive experience. Like I said, he really enjoyed the pay-per-view, and it seemed like they really enjoyed all their dining choices and, all of their experiences.
I feel like it's people
were positive.
Projecting on him, because I feel like they think he's trying to get himself over.
Yeah.
They think, because or it could just be just plain old jealousy that he can be out there in the front row every reason. Because, he should be allowed to just be out there and enjoy every show he goes to.
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately, wrestling fans, no one hates wrestling and wrestling-related stuff like wrestling fans.
God, it's the truth.
It's like he's
guilty.
not. Well,
I'm guilty.
And like I was saying before, he's not your normal Mark. He's not the person that you're going to see in a bunch of merch, and he's not gonna. You know, he's just a super fan that's not your average super fan. So what? And I think a lot of people have a lot of keyboard courage towards him.
Oh, of course.
And that's what kind of made me sad about it, you know? So, and that's where I'll leave it. So, Waylon Jesus, if you ever tune in, we got your back. We respect your privacy, and thanks for loving the product.
I hope he keeps going because I feel like I can almost guarantee that the post-WrestleMania crowd would love him if he would show up to the Raw afterward.
Oh, absolutely. And I got to tell you, and I'll say this for Waylon Jesus, and then we'll move on. Please keep coming to the shows. We're going to continue to wave at you.
We will, yeah.
And if you wave back, you're going to scare the hell out of us. I don't... It's good. He can see us.
I'm going to clutch my pearls that I'm not wearing and be like, oh my God, he saw us.
And Katie, thank you to you for your extensive research.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. I took too much of your time.
Our Woman on the Street interview with Waylon Jesus.
I could not be more excited to call any person alive than the moment I said, okay, well, I hope you enjoy your time in Charlotte. Bye-bye. I immediately called Doggz and was like, you are never going to believe who I just met. And he was like, Ric Flair. And I was like, no, man, better. And he's like, better than Ric Flair? I was like, yeah, I met Waylon Jesus. And
it's not a high bar.
Get the hell out of here. I text every person that I knew that consistently watches the pay-per-views with us and or told them in person, and their faces were just gobsmacked, and I loved it.
Oh, yeah. It was...
he has a fan
you
club.
won the day.
He has a fan club, for sure.
Absolutely.
The Waylon G-Sites.
Just
the Waylon Jesuits.
There you go.
Oh,
see,
man.
that's why this is a thing.
The Waylon so a bunch of screaming monks.
Well, but I say all that in jest. Please leave him alone. He's just a person that wants to enjoy his life.
Well,
right.
us here at This Is a Work, we love Waylon Jesus. And
he has a real name, but I don't want to say it.
No, we don't. No, we don't need to say it. He's got a pen name here.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know if you guys know this. My real name is not Two Dogs. So,
what?
Yeah.
Lies.
That's not your government name?
I want to see your ID right
okay.
now.
All right, I'm going to let you guys hop to it because I was there, so whatever. I guess I'll just listen to this episode later.
Yes, you will. And thank you, Katie Bearden.
It's just a matter of time before you replace us.
Thank you for your intrepid reporting, Katie.
Yes.
Well, we're almost 25 minutes into the episode, so
sorry.
that is okay.
Apparently a show happened after all that.
Yeah. We experienced Clash of the Champions live, and I can't really make a fair call watching it live. So you gotta watch it you gotta watch it as everybody else does, which is right there on the screen. So I had to watch this thing twice.
You missed an awesome Skittles commercial involving the New Day.
No, we saw it.
Oh,
no,
we
we saw it live.
Oh, they showed it there too?
They
okay.
did.
Never mind. You missed nothing important.
So let's start things off with Drew Gulak versus, I'm not even going to try. No, I am. Humberto Carrero. Yeah, go ahead.
Give me the sheet.
And Lindsay Dorado.
You're
okay.
Humberto Carrillo.
Well, listen to you with the accent and everything.
You got to roll those R's.
bye.
Goodbye, reporter Katie Bearden.
You got Lindsay right.
Humberto Dorito.
All right. In a triple threat match.
You got Lindsay right. Most people will go Linz, but
yeah. Well, I've seen Lindsay before, so.
Yeah. Out of
Bless you.
That was out of how many Meltzers, Doug?
Y'all are going to have to forgive me. I am working on some bad allergies going on, so you're going to be hearing me sneeze and cough a lot. This match, was the drizzling shits, I thought.
It wasn't really great on RN2. Hold for edit.
Oh no, I'm leaving that in there. It humanizes us.
This is a sneeze.
No, this was this whole thing was just it was. I came in kind of in the middle of it.
They couldn't get a rhythm
live. There's nothing good I can say about it. Gulak didn't look good. Humberto, I don't even know this kid.
Was he nervous? Because I feel like there were some moves he was not performing the way he should have.
He missed a couple of big spots.
There was a move I know he did in the corner that he performed at like half speed when he should have been doing it like full speed.
Yeah, and
because I recognize the move and I know it only looks good when they're like flying at each other.
Yeah, and the one move in particular I saw, from up in the suite.
Yeah,
staring down, I was like, wow, he missed that by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay, who usually steps up, did not look great either. I can't say anything decent about this. This was, thank God it was a quick match, and
they just couldn't get a rhythm going.
No, I think somebody in the back told him, "Look, just go home. This isn't going anywhere." So I gave this match a 1.5 Meltzer, and I feel like I was being gracious.
From what I recall, yeah.
Moving on to the next prelim match, AJ Styles.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I guess this is our fault. We did ask. We've been asking for AJ Styles to be in the prelims for a long time.
You did this.
Yeah. Well, we got it. AJ Styles versus Charlotte's own Cedric Alexander for the U.S. title. The U.S. title is on the pre-show. Whatever. Okay.
They've done that to practically every title except the actual world titles.
I know. But the U.S. title means more to people in Charlotte.
Did you catch the ref holding it upside down?
I don't want to discuss it. Now, guys, I want you to brace yourself because what I'm about to say is going to shock you.
Dave, you're not bracing.
He already told me and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I actually needed this AJ Styles match to go about 5 minutes longer. Yeah.
Go ahead.
This match went 4 minutes and some change, I believe.
Yeah.
And he squashed Cedric Alexander in his hometown.
Yeah, that's a Vince favorite.
Yeah. I'm fine with Cedric losing.
Right.
I knew that was going to happen when I went into this
Well,
thing.
yeah.
I love Cedric. I'm always pulling for him, but he's not title ready yet.
No.
He's not. He's got to mature a little.
But yeah, you're right. It would have benefited from being longer.
Right. And these two work really well together, and we got 5 minutes out of it. Mm-hmm. Wasteful. Very wasteful.
Well, they needed to make time for plenty of shots of people wandering to their seats behind the pre-show commentary team. Holy shit. Almost every time they cut to a full shot of them, there were just people if hold your hands about 6 inches apart. That's how close these people were to the set.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they were right behind the set.
Mm-hmm.
And people would immediately notice the camera.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This match, I gave it a 2.5. Mm-hmm. I'm probably being a little generous there because it's Cedric. It probably was only worth about a 2. It was a good match. It was just a squash match, and it shouldn't have gone down that way. And I would have been okay if it would have been back and forth a little, and then AJ pulls a win out, and then the Good Brothers come down and put the boots to him, which is what happened. But no, they squashed him, and then just insult to injury and insult to Charlotte.
Well, the insult started at the beginning of the match when AJ waved them to the back and said, "Oh, don't worry, I got this."
Yeah, right. Yeah. Which
would have been a better move if he then gets in the ring and, oh wait, this kid's holding his own against me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But no, that's not how we did it. And so I gave it 2.5. I'm gonna stick with that. It probably should have been lower. Should have been at least a 2. Moving into the actual pay-per-view, we have the Raw Tag Team Championship on the line with this team that, boy, is it you just look at this team and you say, wow, that's just peanut butter and jelly right there. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, because fuck you. That's why.
I don't know. You make up the story this time.
Yeah. Versus another peanut butter and jelly team of Seth freaking Rollins and the monster Braun Strowman. And then they're the tag champs because fuck you. And
so once we get to the conclusion of this match, I'm going to point something out that's kind of incredible and not really in the best way. But
okay.
we'll go ahead and get through the match. Yeah, I was like, oh, they're kind of doing the quote unquote classic, or I should say infamous thing, where it's like, oh hey, these two guys who are competing against each other in the world title scene, let's just throw them together and make them a tag team. Now they're champions. Now they got to deal with that.
Yeah, we've done this before. And look, going into this pay-per-view, we knew what was going to happen.
Of course.
You're dropping these belts. The question is, who are you dropping these belts to? And then they pulled out the bingo roller. They pulled out the bingo roller, and it's like, oh, it's going to be Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. They probably said, all right, here we go. All right, pull this one out. And here we go. I have told you guys 100 times, his name is Robert now. Robert Roode. Okay? All right? Robert. Anyway, throw that next one out. What's the next one? Dolph Ziggler, huh?
Sounds made up, all right.
You know what? Hey, you guys get on this. Can we do something with a name? Yeah, we'll call them Roode and Ziggler. Sounds good. That's why we pay you the big bucks. All right.
This skit isn't so much as funny, but probably what happened.
No, yeah. At one point,
they could be zooed.
Cole tried to call them the Glorious Ones. Just stop it. They still have separate entrances. They're not even a team. Just quit.
It could be Rolf Riggler.
But yeah, this match happened. This was not a bad match.
This match happened. No, it was not a bad match.
I did enjoy this match. Again, I knew the finish.
The foregone conclusion.
Well before Clash was even announced. I knew what was going to happen here, and I think everybody else did too. And it seems the match was pretty good. Everybody in here are, primetime players, so you're going to have a decent match out of it.
And seasoned tag people.
Right. And the match was quick. It told the story. It's a little too quick for me. My biggest problem was after the match. I needed to see Seth and Braun arguing a little bit.
Yeah.
about this. We didn't see that. We just
Oh, they did eventually get interviews.
interviews.
Where there's-
Yeah.
well, the best part is Seth played it like I thought he would. It's like, well, we lost, so now we just got to focus on, fighting each other.
Yeah.
And then Braun took the track of, Seth lost.
And
Excuse me.
and I would have liked to have seen that played out in the ring, but no, we're going to do the backstage interviews.
Well, even that is more time. I'm trying to describe this. Is an inexplicably small amount of time, because what they did was basically took a standard storyline of these two guys were thrown in, or became a tag team and became champions, all the while leading toward a match with each other. And this is a storyline that would then they lose the tag titles and then build to a match.
Yeah.
Something that at the very least they would take a month on.
Right.
That or more
Yeah.
happened in a night.
Yeah. Yeah. One night.
within the course of a couple hours, because they had that as the opener, and then their match was it the closer? Yeah, it was the closer.
Yeah.
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 The beginning and end of a pay-per-view was how long they spent on this storyline.
Yeah, 2.5 Meltzers for this one.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Now, this one, we have the women's championship, or this is the Raw Women's Championship. I'm getting them confused. The Raw Women's Championship, Bayley versus Charlotte Flair. Well,
It's a Flair and Charlotte.
So, and if Vince is running things, you know who's going under. So, now, this was another one. We went 5 minutes on this match. Mm-hmm. This could have been a really good match. And what we did see, I enjoyed, except for that go home. Do you want to talk about it? Or?
I'm blanking right now.
That's okay. I'll take care of it.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'll remember as soon as you get into it.
This happened so fast that when I was there live, I didn't see it. I had to watch it on the replay, and then when I watched it at home, I lowered my eyes for a minute and I missed it again.
You were not meant to see this happen the first time around.
So what happens is Bayley, she's getting the boots to her. Flair's getting the better of her.
Okay, I'm sort of remembering. Go ahead.
Yeah. Flair's getting the better of Bayley, and she kind of scrambles over to the bottom turnbuckle.
Yes, okay.
The bottom turnbuckle.
Yes, she undoes the turnbuckle.
Yes, and she very nonchalantly undoes the bottom turnbuckle, exposing the bolt. The problem is she did it so nonchalantly that no one in the audience saw her do it. No one on camera saw her. The cameramen themselves didn't see her do it. The announcers didn't see her do it.
I'll be honest, I don't even remember if I saw it right the first time. I think I saw it seen it the replay too.
No, we watched it again, me and Chris and a couple other people at Doggz' house, and none of us knew what the hell just happened. To us as an audience at home, it just looked like, all right, Charlotte's going to do something. Oh, now Charlotte's on the ground. Oh, now Charlotte's getting pinned. Okay,
and there it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
One, props to Bayley for subtlety. Two, cut that out. This is wrestling.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. I like the story.
Yeah.
Good. That's good stuff there. Top rope. So everybody can see what the hell you're doing, except the referee.
Because, she sold it perfect after she took the pin. She grabbed the belt and ran for it.
And then she, instead of, actually doing a wrestling move like, something that would constitute this, like a drop toe hold into it or something of that nature.
Yeah.
She just kind of slings her into it, and I'm about to say something ugly, so bear with me.
Okay.
Bayley and Charlotte, both guilty. They both did something that I don't like. Bayley threw Charlotte into the turnbuckle like a girl. And Charlotte goes flying into the turnbuckle like a girl. Now, this is my biggest problem. Okay, you're not. I said this to the ladies that I've trained. You're not men and women when you step in here. You're wrestlers. You're not going to act like a man. You're not going to act like a lady. You're not going to act like a girl. You're going to act like wrestlers. And that's the way I want you to move, act, and speak. They did the exact opposite of that. So, which pisses me off.
You were mad it was too real.
A little bit. Yeah, that's exact. Yeah. You got me. Yeah, that was too
honestly,
real.
you're not wrong because it's meant to be theatrical and it's meant to happen in a certain way.
No, Chris, you caught you.
It was too real.
Yeah, you got me. Yes, it was too real.
It's like, yeah,
and I don't like it.
That's how it should look if you're trying to win a real life fight. Sure.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't want anybody seeing when I throw somebody into a turnbuckle. And that I've just exposed. Nobody saw her do it. Yeah, so yeah, it was too real.
Because the crowd's supposed to catch it and be horrified at the cheating.
Yeah.
And the ref is not supposed to see it, and only after the fact look up, hey, there's a pad missing.
Yeah.
When did that happen? Anyway, here's your belt.
I gave this match a 1.5 Meltzer. Your idea was great.
Mm-hmm.
Your story was great. Your execution was poor. The rest of the match was fine. What little bit we had of it. But again, another charlatan doing the job in under 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's how it works. Yeah. But that's how it works for every hometown hero. Because I don't know, I don't remember where I heard the story, but apparently just like Vince thinks it's hilarious.
Now, you know what's going to happen? They're going to be in, isn't Bayley from Tucson?
I don't know.
Or, no, she's from California. She's from, I can't think of, well, wherever. They're going to be on whatever the next pay-per-view is. I believe it's Hell in a Cell. Anyway, they're going to be in Bayley's hometown. And it'd be really nice if we at least returned the favor and Bayley jobbed out real bad.
So when she comes out on that one, can the flailing arm tube men have like angry eyes or weapons?
Well, I kind of need them to. That's
and upside down, there's just huge frowns. They have to. I don't really want her to.
I'd really appreciate that if that happened.
Here's the thing. I don't want her to change anything about her gimmick other than the fact that she's supposed to be a heel now, so she has to be mean and angry.
Yes.
So everything needs to reflect that, despite the fact that she's still super cheery.
Can we just maybe take the flailing arms and maybe cross them?
Yeah. Oh.
So they're just.
That would be great because it's like because Charlotte is already tough.
Yeah,
like Bayley's not tough, and there's no point in trying to make her tough.
Right.
And they've kind of gone that way properly with having her run away with the title, but they should just make her just adorably evil.
Yeah, that's. See, this is why haven't they returned your phone calls, Barnes? God, we need you on the booking committee. So next up, we have SmackDown tag titles up for grabs. The Revival versus the New Day.
Oh, Lordy.
Another weird finish. Submission finish in a tag match. That rarely happens.
Well, it does when you actually knock out the other guys, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So we ran the angle that Xavier Woods, he's got an injury, And but he was there. He was ready to compete. We worked the angle of the injury. It was going well until that weird submission go home, which, again, I said we caught it, but it was like after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
It was what happened. So they're okay. They're the tag champs. So that happened.
They're kind of just not so much wiping slates clean as like going in new directions for the most part, because there were a lot of changeovers.
It was really
Not a
just
lot,
the
but
tag changeovers. That was the thing.
Yeah.
And it was weird. How many times have the Revival been tag champs? I think, is it 3 times now?
Something like that, yeah.
It's just it's really weird considering this time last year,
They were looking to leave?
They were they were ready to leave. Vince was making them look like fools. He had them putting the what do you call it, the liquid heat in their jock straps.
Oh, okay.
And it just bad story. And now we're tag champs again.
Isn't that how it kind of goes a lot of the time in WWE, where it's like, if you're willing to put up with this ridiculous shit, then yes, and tough it out, then you usually end up getting to have your run?
I guess.
It seems like that's the pattern.
It seems to be. And, the thing about it, it really upsets me how little they tried on this one. Again, we just had All Out a week before, or 2 weeks beforehand. And this is their answer.
Yeah.
Like, do you want it to fail? I'm curious. It's because All Out just beat the pants off of this.
Yeah. And
I loved Clash of the Champions. When I was a kid, that was one of my favorite things to watch. And they, of course, it was WCW.
And it's a great concept. It's like, hey, no matter what, all the titles are on the line tonight.
Right.
So you will get to possibly see titles change hand.
Absolutely. Moving on, I gave this one I did give this one a 3. I did enjoy this match.
Oh yeah.
Because
the efforts of both teams was great.
And don't get me wrong, I'm kind of talking a little bit of smack about the Revival, but I do really, really like the Revival, and arguably New Day, 2 of the best tag teams in the world. There,
absolutely, and they played off each other wonderfully.
Oh, yeah. It was good stuff in there. Moving on, we have the women's tag match. Again, another thrown together team, but I really like it.
Bliss and Cross?
Yeah, Bliss Cross applesauce. I can't. I love Robert for coming up with that.
No, it's a thrown together team that's really working well, I think.
And also, Robert showed me a tweet where somebody used like hashtag. God, I just cannot talk tonight. I'm just going to sit back after this and wait to hit the stop button. He showed me a tweet in which somebody hashtagged Bliss Cross applesauce. He was like, "Damn it!" So it's catching on.
Well, they keep almost saying it. From the announcer's point of view, Michael Cole several times Monday said, the team of Bliss Cross, that's applesauce. Applesauce. And
I swear to God, I would love for someone to be in the gorilla position just whispering that every time he says it.
Right.
Applesauce. No, I'm not saying it. You will say it.
Say Car Ramrod.
You didn't say it.
Yeah,
Just to try and trip him up, like not even like trying to make it say, just like every time he says Bliss Cross applesauce, so it's in his head eventually.
Right, it needs to happen. You guys are leaving money on the table. Anyway, Bliss Cross applesauce versus
just a T-shirt with a jar of applesauce on it that says Bliss Cross.
what, a cup of coffee and a thing of applesauce. Why?
And their faces. Anyway,
Why are you not hiring us? God, you're leaving money on the table. Damn it, Vince. Anyway, so Bliss Cross versus Fire and Desire. This is a team that looks thrown together, but it's not. I like Mandy Rose, and I mean, who doesn't like Mandy Rose? But honestly, she's a great talent.
yes.
And Sonya Deville, who actually, me seeing Deville and Rose live, it's very apparent to me. Mandy Rose is the technician in that pairing.
Yeah.
I always thought it might have been Sonya, but no, that's the one. That's the general in that ring. This was a fun match.
It was. It was a lot of fun.
Nikki Cross. Okay, you know what? She's coming into her own.
She's
man.
stealing shows and stealing hearts.
Yeah, she is. I'm really and thank God for them teaming her up with Alexa Bliss.
There was one point we were on the couch. I think it might have been during their interview, where it's just like she was just such an excited child that I was just like, "Hey Alexa, 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 Alexa."
It's the little dog. It's Big Spike and Little Tyke.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know which one you're talking about. It's a different cartoon. It's a Looney Tunes where it's like
You're right.
it's the big gangster bulldog and the little like Chihuahua.
Yeah. I can't.
I don't know if they ever had any official names, but it's like, yeah, he was just stomping around all tough and just like, hey.
Oh God, I do. He did. The big dog did have a name, but I can't remember what it was. We'll come back to it. So this match is so much fun.
It is.
I really did enjoy
Because
this.
Fire and Desire have a good dynamic too.
They do. Now the story here was lame. It was, hey, Mandy Rose, I'm gonna say that Nikki Cross is ugly. It's weak.
It's Mean Girls.
Yeah, it's weak.
It's funny because Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross kind of have a weird high school clique dynamic to start with.
Yeah.
And so do Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, actually.
And I guess if you take this back, Alexa was doing the exact same thing this time last year with Nia Jax.
Kind of, yeah.
She's ugly and fat. Yeah. And
Oh, I found it. It's Spike and Chester.
Chester, that's it. Yes.
He's a little terrier, yeah.
Yes, there you go. So I gave this match also 3 Meltzers. Alexa Bliss goes and Nikki Cross defeated Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. So much fun.
It was.
Want to add anything to it?
No, I just can't. I can't recommend it enough. Just the antics and everything in the match were fun from start to finish.
Now, our next match is Shinsuke Nakamura with his new manager,
Hype man. Mostly Hype Man, yeah.
Mostly Hype Man. Versus The Miz. Now, first time me getting to see Shinsuke Nakamura live, and I wanted to swear so bad, and I couldn't because there were 2 children right in front of me that were kind of, sort of listening to what we were saying. And also their parents were with them, and they were kind of, sort of listening to what we were saying too. So I was like, well, I can't.
You can't shield them forever. This is wrestling.
Right. So, but they're not around anymore, so I can say it. That motherfucker's wearing a goddamn cape.
Yep.
And
Yes, he is. And I believe Dave likened him to the male version of Marvel Comics Dazzler in terms of outfit.
Yeah, taking a page from Letterkenny, I also referred to him as Shitty Wolverine.
Shitty Wolverine with a plunging neckline.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It was...
That just plunged further the longer the match went on.
I gotta say, if Sammy wants to give up wrestling and go into being a manager, he's got my vote.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was great out
It
there.
seems like that's what he's probably doing for the time being. Cause
I would love to see it. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I've never been a huge Sami Zayn fan anyway. So this works for me. I've been saying it for a long time. Shinsuke needs a mouthpiece.
oh, certainly.
And who better? I love it. Bring that to me all day long. The Miz, always fantastic. This match was fun to watch. Apparently, at one point, Sammy gets on the mic and just starts giving us play-by-play.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't realize this when I was watching it live. Had to watch it back. They actually cut the mic, which makes me wonder, was he supposed to be doing that? Or was he gonna ask for an apology rather than permission?
It could be 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It feels like because normally if it's planned, they'll let it go on.
Right.
Until, like, say, Miz puts a stop to it.
Yeah. And it was good. I mean, he was giving Charlotte the business, and it was...
Maybe they didn't want a repeat of that one manager guy who was doing that as a gimmick, and...
Well, that would have been Elias that was...
No. The one... I think it was it the Titus and when they were a team, they had a manager toward the end, or some team had a manager. He was on mic the whole time. He made a Kobe joke.
Oh, that's right. That was
Kobe,
who was that?
I don't know. Kobe. He made a Kobe bathroom joke, and after that, he was gone.
Yeah, I cannot remember who that was, but that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do remember that. Anyway, this was this match also a lot of fun. Shinsuke ends up going over on the Miz, retaining this title. A little bit disappointed. I thought we were going to see the title change hands.
Yeah, kind of open.
Because that would have been nice. It would have been a nice story. Because basically, what we've got here, we've got 2 title changes. Both in the tag teams. And let's be honest, the Revival, well, not so much the Revival, but Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, those are transitional champions.
Oh, yeah.
Ziggler, unclear if he wants to be there full time or not. I think he wants to spread himself out and do other things. Which, he has been. He's had the free time. These guys are probably going to, I guarantee it, they'll lose these belts probably next week on Raw.
I could see it going to the next pay-per-view, maybe.
You think?
Maybe.
All the way to Hell in a Cell?
Maybe. By the way, did you see that commercial for it where everyone turned into Carnage?
I did. Yeah, that's something. I really hope that cell's not going to be red again. That was that upset me so much last year. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's going to be red again, and
yeah, it might be.
It may be blue for SmackDown. It's which is going to piss me off even more.
Well, if it's blue, then it would be a throwback.
Yeah,
to the blue bars.
Okay. If it's steel cage blue, okay, I may accept that. But if it's just a regular old blue, then I'm not down with that.
I really do miss those.
Yeah, I do too.
Big sturdy bastards.
heavy things, man. It looked dangerous.
Yeah.
But this match was fun. I like the way it went down. I love watching Miz. Shinsuke was good. Shinsuke had it together. I gave this match a 3. It went a little longer than I wanted it to. Started to drag.
Yeah.
Especially when we were there live. So as I went ahead and gave it a 3. I was being kind. It probably really deserved 2.5, but I think I'm going with 3 on this one.
That's about right. I mean, I can say on the couch, everyone was kind of like ready for it to go end.
Yeah. And then we have Sasha Banks versus the man Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was weird. I still don't know what I think about this. Match started out good. It kind of lost me there for a minute, but it did not lose the Charlotte crowd.
Mm-mm.
They were chanting, "This is awesome."
They were, yeah.
I did not feel like it was awesome, which made me wonder. I was like, "Is this piped in? Am I hearing something? Are they piping in stuff?" And so I started really paying attention to the speakers, and no, the crowd was actually saying that, which I don't get it. What were your thoughts on this match? Because we actually watched this thing separately, so we probably we don't sometimes when we watch this stuff together, we kind of sync up. But since we were separated on this one, what'd you think?
No, I remember it being pretty entertaining. I wasn't exactly in the this is awesome camp, but I remember it being a fun match.
Yeah, Sasha looked better than she has, in the past. The finish was weird. Becky got disqualified.
Oh, right.
For using a chair. But then the match went on another 20 minutes of just them fighting in the crowd, fighting around the arena.
Oh, no. She was disqualified. Mm-hmm. But that was after the ref woke up. Because they took the opportunity with the knockout to go like in a big circle.
Yeah.
And then get back in the ring. And then she was going to use the chair again when the refs stormed in.
And this was... that ref was dead.
That was something I couldn't help comment on the whole time. I think that maybe what kept the Charlotte crowd more interested was the fact that they came out into the crowd.
Yeah. Kind of had to.
Yeah. It was like, oh yeah, no, that was I just imagine. I was talking to Ted and everyone on the couch. It was like the refs just speak. He's got his earpiece on. He's like, are they still in the crowd? Okay, how are they going? Okay, all right.
My wife pointed something out that the cameras didn't pick up, but we saw it very clearly. One of the cameramen, while they were in the crowd and the ref was just laying right outside the apron, one of the cameramen walked over to the ring and kicked the ref on purpose, just blatantly just gave him a little pop.
It's like...
And you would think
someone just would like go over to him, make sure he's actually okay.
Yeah, I thought for a second he was like, the ref's getting ready to wake up. No, they stayed out there another 10 minutes.
Yeah, he had a fun little nap time. Like
the cameraman was just being a dick. Just went over, just like, there you go. You like that? You can't get up and do anything about it, can you? This one I gave this match a 2, just because I went on a little bit longer than I think it should have. Now, if we worked it another way, I think I would have been fine with it. But the way this whole thing was going, wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't having it. However, far be it from me because I'm clearly wrong because the crowd loved this match. I personally saw something very different than the Charlotte crowd.
I don't know what to tell you.
So
I think we were just watching them take their nature walk or whatever at home. I think it was more exciting for the crowd just because they were out in there.
I don't get it, but what are you gonna do?
I'm guessing I don't know. I'm guessing Falls Count Anywhere matches just go over great in Charlotte for some reason.
Yeah, true.
Intended or not,
Right. The next one we have is Kofi versus Randy. And Randy still has not shown up to have a match. This is like 4 pay-per-views in a row that, in my opinion, Randy Orton has not shown up for. Clash was no exception. It felt lazy. It felt disappointing. And the crowd was really behind Randy. Charlotte hated Kofi. I don't know if you guys were able to pick that up or not.
I didn't, no.
There was a lot of boos. They are some Kofi hating mofos. But yeah, I was a little bit astonished that went down. Kofi at one point is trying to pop the crowd, and people are just flat out. I mean, they're treating him like he's Roman Reigns.
It was weird. I mean, the match felt a little flat, but I didn't think it was anything Kofi was doing.
No. I thought Randy was being Randy. The money was not on the line, I guess, and. Kofi didn't. I don't think Kofi was looking as stellar as he usually does. But it was not a fan of this match.
I do remember it didn't feel like much of an attention holder.
Yeah,
for me.
Hensley, we okay? Okay.
As much as we were trying to stay tuned in, it's just I kind of felt myself drifting during that match.
It was a boring match.
Yeah.
And, I'll be honest, you kind of have to blame Orton on this one. He's the vet.
Right.
And, he did not show up and didn't really look like Kofi did either. So that one, I gave it a 1.
Okay. I mean, I think that's fair.
Not a good... nobody's showing up to this one.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of fire in this one.
No. So, next up we have Eric Rowan versus Roman Reigns. Now, again,
yeah,
I want you to brace yourself for what I'm about to tell you.
Braced.
This was the best match on the card.
No way. Okay, actually, you're right.
Roman looked great. Mm-hmm. And Eric Rowan looked great. These guys, they did the exact same thing that Becky and Sasha did, except they did it better.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a fun match. It was fun watching. Roman did what Roman does, and I was here for it. I don't say that lightly. I realize I've given Roman the business a lot. Mm-hmm. And he was great. It was a good match. Well, what do you think?
Dave pointed out something. They took an obviously old production camera on the crane so they could have the spot where he gets rammed with it.
Yeah, I saw that. It was that was fun to watch.
Yeah, I hate that I recognize things like that, but one of the people watching with us is like, "Oh, they're gonna hit him. He's gonna hit him with that camera. I wonder if we're gonna get one of those point of view shots." And I was looking at it, and I'm like, No. They took an old, out of use camera and threw it up on that crane just for the sake of having that spot.
To be fair, the only reason they asked was 'cause there was a SmackDown where they did that. Mm-hmm. They did because they showed it in the pre-match package. That reminds me, there was one thing that bugged me about this match, and that was the build up to it.
Right.
The match was great.
Yeah.
And
the build up, you talking about the Roman Reigns mysteries?
Sort of.
Okay.
Not necessarily that, because but production-wise, they did something that they do from time to time that is an immediate breaking of suspension of disbelief and immersion, and that is when they cut to those cinematic angles.
Yeah.
They showed the shots of when someone pushed over that scaffolding on toward Roman, tried to hit him, and they cut to a camera shot that was sitting in the scaffolding.
Yeah.
Why would you have a camera there?
Yeah.
Why would you have a camera there? And there was at least one other shot where it was like that, and they've done that before. And I remember noticing the first time I noticed it happen, and it was something that Mick Foley commented on in his book, and they did it during the halftime heat.
I was just thinking about this. Go ahead. No, please.
Because it was an empty arena match, and that is a great match. They did a fantastic
It really
job.
is. It's rare that you can live up to the original.
And the end is Mankind parks a pallet via forklift on top of the Rock to keep him pinned for 3. Genius. Love it.
Yeah. What's bad about it?
What is bad about it is, as Mick Foley writes, they said, hey, you're good. We just need to get one more shot with The Rock. And that shot was, I think it was 2 shots. One, it's a shot of the forklift pallet coming down from The Rock's POV.
Yeah.
And another, when it switches to The Rock, looking up at the camera going, ah!
It's the worst.
It is the fucking worst.
I remember watching this, and I'm like, what the shit was that? Come on,
then
guys.
it cuts back to the normal match.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, there was.
It's that. See, I don't mind Roman Reigns mysteries and other various Looney Tunes bullshit.
I liked it. Yeah.
I hate that when they try to. It breaks the immersion because this is meant to be a live sports show.
Right.
And if you don't film it like a live sports show, I'm immediately gone.
And and how many cameras do you need backstage?
Actually, I'm fine with multiple cameras backstage. I'm not fine with. I don't believe for a second the crew straps a GoPro to every conceivable surface.
Right.
Oh, that was the other shot. The other cinematic shot they switched to was from the left bumper of the car that rammed into Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Why did you have a camera there?
Because what was that guy's name that they the fake Rowan?
I don't know. I don't remember.
He had a name.
Yeah.
It's escaping me now, but whatever he was, he said, you know what? The world's going to want to see this.
Yeah, I was like,
little.
how did you also acquire that footage if it was on the attacker's car?
Yeah.
Questions are immediately raised that are just beyond the hand wave because of pro wrestling thing.
Yeah.
I did not, since I don't watch the shows, I did appreciate the twist that Daniel Bryan did not know, and he thought that they were just being accused wrongly.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice twist. And it turns out, no, Rowan was like, nope, it was me.
Yeah. I totally did it. Yeah. That was
I totally did it. And then it all led to the great turn at the end where Roman loses.
Yeah.
Because Rowan's real best friend comes back.
Luke Harper. Now,
did that man get skinnier?
He's dropped some weight.
He's always been kind of on the skinny side.
But, by comparison to Rowan.
But nothing emphasizes it more than his beard somehow. His beard somehow makes him look like he's verging on prisoner of war territory.
I said this the other night. I'm going to say it again. What I want to happen, I want to reform the Wyatt family, except I want to keep it in the Firefly Funhouse. I need Eric Rowan and Luke Harper to shave their beards clean shaven, and I want them to be kids in the Funhouse.
I would love that. I would
You're
love that
welcome.
100%.
Yes. Vince, you got to call me, man. You're leaving money on the table. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. See, I can do it too. Yeah, I love this match. 3.5. This was the highest rating that I gave any match this evening. This match was so much fun. Luke Harper runs out from underneath the ring and plasters Roman. Then they put the boots to him, pin him. Oh, it's good. It's good, clean fun.
Absolutely. And then, but the best part was like we're supposed to hate them, but they're so genuinely happy to see each other.
Yeah,
they're like it's just.
And we were happy to see Luke.
It's a reunion of best friends, and it's not treated as anything other than that. It's awesome.
It just goes to show you, it's the writers. They did not expect that. They didn't say they're going to love each other. The crowd's going to go ape shit. It's going to be great. They're going to be so pissed.
Roman Reigns was defeated by the power of friendship.
Yeah. There's a terrible joke I can make in there, but something about leukemia versus friendship. You know what? We'll leave it alone. So this brings us to our main event.
The match has been built up for hours now.
Hours.
See, I don't like this. I would love to see a return, at least every once in a while, to a build-up like this where it was like they're a team, they're actually a good team, they like each other, but now they're going to have a match against each other. What's going to happen? Well, they're going to beat the hell out of each other, but it's going to be out of respect. Yeah. I miss that. I want that.
That used to happen a lot in ECW.
Yeah.
The matter of respect matches.
The idea, I love the idea of it's like we're a great team. Now we're going to wrestle. We're not going to hold anything back because that wouldn't be fair.
Right.
That would be
rules are rules.
That would be disrespectful.
Right. So I miss those. I'm with you. So what we had here was Seth Rollins, your Universal Champion, versus the monster Braun Strowman, the former Raw Tag Team Champion. Decent match.
It was decent. Yep.
Lot of shoulder blocks from Strowman.
Yeah, and it seemed to very quickly nip this feud in the bud.
Yeah,
for reasons.
Which, again, you can tell they threw this whole thing together. They threw the tag belts on them.
Yeah.
They threw this whole thing.
To create
they threw this
false tension.
Just it's like, well, we need some time because we got to get to this.
And my problem with that is I don't believe it with Braun because very specifically I don't say he's on par, but I say he's in the same area as Andre where it's never going to be believable to give him the title.
Right.
He cannot have it because
who's going to beat him? It's going to be
exactly.
It's going to be Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Again, all over again.
Right. The monster has to chase.
Right.
So I never because again, like the only angle where Andre got the title is because he was going to give it to Ted DiBiase because he sold out.
Exactly.
That's the only reason he ever
Little
got.
history lesson for you guys out there. That's right. He's only won maybe, I think, 2 titles.
Yeah. One
One of them was the tag titles, and the other one was the world title at the main event. But yeah.
And Braun is in that class to me.
I agree.
So it never makes sense for me to believe that he's going to win.
Now we can give him trophies and put him in the greatest Royal Rumble and give him his pretend belts all day long. We can do that for days because that's just good, clean fun.
Exactly.
Plus, I still don't think he's really ready for a world title. I said this a couple of years ago. He's still not ready. And we're trying to turn him into a monster. Well, we turned him into a monster, but now we're wanting to turn him back human because, and you haven't been watching this, but for the past several weeks, he's been being really odd. Okay. It's just like, I'm here to get these hands. Oh, by the way, Ms., congratulations on the birth of your new child. But these guys right here, they're gonna get Braun Strowman. And then what was it that happened? It was like, I'll tell you right now, Seth Rollins, you're gonna get these hands. It's also an honor to be out here with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I've been watching you since I was a child, and I respect and honor you. And but Seth Rollins,
but Hulk smash.
So anyway, I'm getting off track.
They're trying to make him Professor Hulk.
Yeah, yeah. This is a fun match. What happened, and Seth Rollins beats him handedly. It's a donut. There's no meat on this bone, but it's two of the best doing what they do.
Mm-hmm. And they do have a good match together.
Yeah, they do. I gave it a 3. But then after the match,
yeah, this was what it was the real setup to.
Yeah. Now here's the thing about it. I would have cared about this more had we not already been advertising Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
And had we not already seen the advertisements for Seth Rollins versus The Fiend.
Yep.
If we didn't know about that already, this would have been great.
That's what WWE does that all the time. They're like a trailer that spoils the movie.
Right. It's why did you need to show this so early? I'll tell you, the first time.
For a second, I didn't think it was going to happen because they flashed up the copyright thing very early on the screen.
And that's what I was thinking. And I'll give you a quick story on this too. We're live, and Katie and Kara and Shelby, they go ahead, they stand up as as Seth Rollins is heading to the back, and I'm like, hold on.
Because everyone was expecting a Fiend appearance.
And then they flashed the WWE copyright, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're done. And then the lights shut out. And I didn't even have time. I had time to think it, but I didn't have time to say it.
Yeah.
The lights go out. My wife screamed as if the Fiend were coming after her. It's as soon as I'm done with Seth Rollins,
I'm going
Kara Hayes.
And there's a point up to the box. It's like, holy shit.
No.
Everyone steps away. Well, that sucks for you, Kara.
Yeah. Goodbye.
You're in our hearts.
You deserve this.
And then flash forward to her funeral. And then I said, as I was running away, she deserves this. Didn't catch a reply.
I think she said thank you. That's something or something. You're
probably right.
So the Fiend comes out. Sister Abigail's Seth Rollins gives him the mandible claw, and that's how we go out. Great ending.
Oh, yes.
Again, would have been better had we not already known.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. The pay-per-view wasn't as good overall, but I know when I was watching it, I know you did too, I had great company, and that made it feel
exactly.
a million times better.
And also watching it live makes it much better.
Oh, sure.
Having said that, overall, I gave Clash of the Champions a 2.
That's it. You know what? I was thinking that. I was trying to think of what number was going to come, and I was like, 2 sounds about right.
2. I think 2's. It's because it wasn't a failing grade.
No.
But it was not. It was not average either. This was definitely below average. If the whole thing felt lazy.
Kinda.
Yeah, it's like this is a transitional pay-per-view, which I find, again, you're doing the Clash of the Champions in Charlotte, for the love of God. You did all of this to try to get to the next pay-per-view, which is going to be Hell in a Cell, and I understand that's a bigger draw. I get it. This was a lazy pay-per-view. That's all it was. It was a transitional pay-per-view to get to something more important, which I find rather insulting considering that we're in Crockett territory.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is AEW is coming, man, and they're coming hard. So now, I've been toying with this idea for a while. I'm going to start doing it.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you the top 10 list for our wrestlers, and I'm going to do this every pay-per-view that we get to. Coming in at number 10 in the singles division, and this is AEW and WWE.
Mm-hmm.
We have Finn Balor. Coming in at number 9, Ricochet. Number 8, Braun Strowman. Number 7, because of his newly anointed King of the Ring title, Baron Corbin. Number 6, AJ Styles. Number 5, your newly crowned AEW champion, Chris Jericho. Number 4 is still your Raw Women's Champion, Bayley. Number 3 is the man, Becky Lynch. Number 2, still Kofi Kingston. And number 1,
still Kofi Kingston.
He is, and he might be for another month or two. It's an indeterminate amount of time. And bringing us to your number 1 wrestler, burning it down, Seth freaking Rollins. And there's just no end in sight on that. Tag team division. Coming in at number 10. I don't know exactly, sometimes the way I do my stats, sometimes things pop up in the top 10 and I don't really know how they're there. But
well, numbers don't lie, dog.
yeah, I mean, numbers don't lie. So coming in at number 10 is the Iconics.
No, that makes perfect sense to me.
Number 9, SoCal Uncensored.
Nice.
Number 8, because they're newly reformed and have had 2 tag matches, the Boss and Hug Connection. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good name for a pair of heels, isn't it?
Yeah. Number 7, the Lucha Brothers. Your AAA tag champs.
Yes.
Coming in at, what is this? Number 6 is your newly crowned Raw tag team champions, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. Number 5, you still your women tag champs, Bliss Cross Applesauce. I just love saying it. Number 4, newly crowned SmackDown Raw champions, the Revival. Excuse me. I got snot running all over the microphone now.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Stop wiping with it.
I can't. One more.
I'm going to straight up murder the next one of you that does something to one of my microphones. Don't tempt me, fuckers. I'll cancel this show. And your lives.
Coming in at number 3 are the New Day. Weird that they just lost, but still coming in above. the tag
That's
champs.
because they're number one in our hearts, dog.
That's
And
right.
My favorite part about this is presumably you wrote this list, right?
He did. He seems
I
very
did.
surprised at
You
what's
se-
happening.
Yeah, you
before.
seem very surprised by a
he
list that
printed it
you
up.
made.
I know.
He's printed it. He was there every step of the way.
The thing about it, I base this on a win-loss record. I base this on, how well you work in the ring, how how over you are.
Moneyball bullshit.
I've got a formula here, but some of this shit just don't make sense.
Again, you were here
But
for every step of it.
That's wrestling.
He's the only one in charge of any of this.
Yeah. I'm still surprised by it.
It's like watching a guy going, "Who's responsible for this? Was it you?" And you put on a different hat. He goes, "No, it wasn't me."
Number 2, the Young Bucks. Makes sense. And number 1 is still the Usos.
Okay.
Oh. We're just going to have an ongoing theme of just dead silent reactions from Chris Barnes. And then, okay.
I am confused.
This is the second podcast we've done in a row where somebody says something and just dead air. And that makes for great pod.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, my compliments on the last Long Walk Talks.
Boy, thank you, sir.
I very much enjoyed that. Chris Barnes, if you had to give a horse trailer vote for Clash of the Champions, what do you got?
Rowan.
That is very interesting because I was going to say it came down to 2 people, and I'm going with Roman Reigns.
That works. I honestly could have said both of them.
Yeah. But as it came down to 2 people, it was either going to be Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins.
Okay.
I didn't go with Rollins because it was basically Seth Rollins' night.
Yeah.
So I had to go with.
I think their match was the most engaging overall.
It really was. Yeah. So yeah, I would like to see. So this is going to take us into Hell in a Cell. I certainly hope that we get a better showing next time. Because, my God, that was a lazy pay-per-view. I mean, it really was. That's
Middling.
yeah,
Kind of, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I'm always hopeful. So I hopefully we'll get something better next time. My overall rating for this is a 2. I already said that.
You
didn't
did,
I?
yeah.
I don't know. What do you think, Barnes?
2 is fair.
Yeah.
Like I said before, seems about right. This whole show, you're right. The overall vibe is like, let's just get through this to get to the more exciting one. It's like
Exactly.
you can make it more exciting.
Yeah. You're the ones with the pen.
And I'm not,
Much like I'm the one that creates these stats. I can change this if I want to.
It's true. It's just confusing because it's like the workers were doing as best they could.
Sure, absolutely. No,
with
this
what
is
they
not,
were given.
Yeah. That's workers. I can't say anything bad about them. They're doing what they can with the story. So that's going to do it for this episode of This Is a Work. Hensley, you got anything for us?
No, not really, except that October is going to be a big month because we've got Hell in a Cell coming up, and we've got 3 episodes of Long Walk Talks coming out as well.
You got 3 episodes of Long Walk?
Don't you threaten me.
We've got, we're going to continue our next part of the new Roaring 20 segment, which is going to be all about music and musical artists of the next.
Oh, God. These are going to be the hardest ones.
Yeah, music and musical artists of the last 20 years.
I don't recall any good artists in the past 20 years.
Hey, fuck off.
He wants us to whittle down and choose the 5 best albums and 5 best singles
Yes.
of the past 20 years?
Albums in 20 years?
Oh, yeah. Doggz, there's been a lot of good shit in the last 20 years. I'm not going to spoil our
Hold on before you
episode.
yell at that cloud, man.
I will listen because I'm curious at what in the hell you're going to come up with.
As Chris said, it has been difficult to narrow my list down.
I know we're still going with the movies. Are we going to try video games, or are we going to...
Now, movies.
I don't think we're going to
okay.
have
Okay.
time. I would have to look at the way that I have broken things down.
Well, if that's not a cliffhanger for you to listen to Long Walk Talks,
Then one of us will
because
have to-
what in the hell could he possibly say about the last 20 years of music?
Yeah.
I'm going to listen because I can't think of anything.
5 best albums, 5 best singles of the last 20 years. Then we got an episode coming up that's going to be a new horror roundtable discussion like we did with The Shining last year. And then I'm going to edit together our first 2 episodes, which were the extreme horror episodes.
He's going to stitch them together and reanimate them.
Yep, and I'm going to re-release those for a limited time. Just because it is October, it's our favorite month, or it's my favorite month of the year. It's Katie's too. We love Halloween. We love
Absolutely.
horror.
I am dragged into this kicking and screaming.
And so yeah, 3 new episodes of Long Walk Talks and the Hell in a Cell episode of This Is a Work. And is there an AEW pay-per-view coming out that month?
I think there is. Well, I don't know. I know we have a. Where they're actually starting the AEW show.
Okay.
In October. As far as the pay-per-view, no, not sure. I'll have to check.
Well, I think that's what can best be described as a fuck ton of pod.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure there will be something that goes on. Well, guys, we want to thank everybody for listening. We also want to thank you for liking our podcast and telling a friend about it and sharing this with a loved one, a friend, people you don't like. Just hack their phone and download it and subscribe. Just
Rate 5 stars.
Yeah, rate it 5 stars. Leave us a comment. We're coming into the new year. I've got some new things that I've got a couple ideas which I haven't talked to you guys about, but
Oh, dear.
You rarely do.
yeah, that's true. Barnes, you got anything?
And that about sums it up.
Please stop doing
Yeah,
that.
he's doing that on purpose.
I'm
now.
not doing that on purpose. Stop springing stuff on me.
Yeah, asking you those hard-hitting questions.
Every time you do that, I just imagine all of our listeners like looking down at their phones and being like, shit, what's going on? Why'd it stop?
My life is incredibly banal. How about that?
Well, that's going to do it, guys. And remember, if you got out of bed today and you had a job to go to and someone who cares about you when you get home, guys, remember this match is over and you just won via pinfall. Thank you very much for listening to This Is a Work.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoy This Is a Work and Long Walk Talks, please make sure to leave us a rating and a review on iTunes, and we will see you for the next one.
We'll see you for Spooky Christmas.